So joining us now is Adam Steen, candidate for Iowa governor. Adam, great to have you today.
Awesome to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, you've been on the campaign trail 8 months now. A lot of people have gotten a chance to know you. I want to make sure our viewers get a chance to know you. Give me a sense and connect the dots for me from your motivation. You've talked about being a husband and a father to your work as an entrepreneur, and then obviously your work in the Reynolds administration. Connect those dots for me and how they've led you to your hopes of becoming Iowa's next governor.
Yeah, that's a great question. And really, this starts for me about really 16 years ago. I've been a business owner for 18 years, but about 16 years ago, I realized that I wanted to plan and prepare for high levels of leadership and ultimately get recruited into the governor's cabinet and was in her cabinet for 5 years. And when she announced that she wasn't going to run for office, I realized that our state was at risk. And as a husband, as a father, I'm making it a point to jump into this race to preserve and protect the culture of Iowa.
So let's talk about two words you just used, at risk and protect. What's at risk and what do you need to protect from?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, if you look at states that are surrounding Iowa, if you look at Minnesota, if you look at Illinois, if you look at parts of Michigan, right now there are just hardcore radical policies that are being put in place that are trying to enter the state of Iowa. And the last thing I'm going to do is let the radical ideologies infiltrate our state. We have a strong conservative state. We have bold conservative values, and I'm here to protect those values and ensure that Iowa can continue to be a shining light on a hill in the United States.
This has been something you have focused on from the very beginning, it seems like. But I'm curious, in the months of campaigning that you've done, I imagine, gotten a chance to talk to a lot of people. Have you in any way focused your priorities as you've kind of heard from these potential voters?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got several priorities, and one of the priorities, unfortunately, is going to have to be property rights. On day one, I have committed to ensure that eminent domain cannot be used for carbon sequestration. It did not get solved in the legislature this year. I will solve that immediately as governor of the state of Iowa. So that's just one thing that we'll do. The other priority I have is spending. The government spends too much money. And so a Steen administration is going to go after government spending and ensure there's no waste, there's no fraud, and there's no abuse of our tax dollars. That combined with my private sector background, I believe and feel that Iowa has an unbelievable opportunity to grow companies in rural Iowa, grow companies in urban parts of Iowa through joint ventures, strategic partnerships, entrepreneurship, innovation. So I will be approaching economic development in a very aggressive way as well to grow Iowa, to allow families to thrive right here in our state.
Let's go back to eminent domain because that's something all of the Republican candidates have talked about. What is the exact mechanism that you plan to use to make sure that happens on day one, as you said, but also is sustainable for the state?
Yeah, very simply put, eminent domain cannot be used for carbon sequestration. If the legislature does not act, I will do whatever I can within my authority as a governor to make sure that that simple line is either in code or through an executive order, whatever it takes. We have to protect property rights. I'm not against eminent domain for transmission lines, for natural gas, for oil. It needs to be used sparingly in those situations. But for carbon sequestration, eminent domain has no purpose for that use.
We have a crowded Republican field right now. You've called for consolidation. I imagine the risk, of course, is that the least conservative candidate gets the nomination. In these next few days before early voting opens on Wednesday, do you expect that this field will look like this when voters go to the polls? And do you plan to make any changes in your campaign?
Now, I expect the field will look the same way. Obviously, early voting starts May 13th. I expect the field to be the same field that it is. And I expect that my campaign, we're all gas and no brake. We're putting the pedal to the metal. We're going to continue to go out there. We're going to continue to meet Iowans. We're going to continue to listen to Iowans. We're going to continue to put forth solutions. We're a candidate. I'm a candidate, and this is a campaign that is focused on problem solving. That's all I've done in my career, and we're going to continue to go out there and solve problems that's going to benefit Iowans. It's going to protect families. It's going to put more money in our pocketbooks. And again, Iowa is going to be a shining light on a hill.
You've talked about solving problems not only in the future, but in the role that you had previously with the administration. Do you believe that that is the thing that sets you apart? Because I imagine there's going to be some voters who are going to the polls, and maybe as they're driving, they have two candidates. It's you and another candidate that's bouncing back and forth in their heads. What's the distinguishing thing in your view?
Yeah, perhaps for the first time in the history of a Republican candidate, we have somebody who's an evangelical Christian conservative. I have a biblical worldview, so my foundation is biblical. That combined with 18 years of business experience, I've owned businesses. I've helped businesses expand. I've helped businesses create, again, joint ventures, strategic partnerships. So I've got a business background. I've also got a governmental operations background. So a Christian conservative who is a business owner who also has government experience that can operate the state on day one sets me far and above any other candidate in this field. And it's something that we're saying loud and proud all across the state.
I can only imagine that you are, in your mind, positioning yourself as the candidate, the Republican candidate, and you're going to face likely Rob Sand in the general election. Both Republicans and Democrats have talked about a number of issues, things like education, cancer rates, water quality, that sort of thing. Even just yesterday, Rita Hart mentioned that, you know what, this is what we get. These things are what we get when Republicans control the state. How do you respond to that and address that concern for people when they're maybe having to choose between you and Rob Sand?
Yeah, that's another thing that distinguishes me from the other Republican candidates. I had the, whether fortunate or unfortunate opportunity to work with Rob Sand for 5 years inside of state government. As he was posing as auditor of the state, I had several situations where I went toe-to-toe with his department, and I watched him play politics with some of the most sensitive situations in state government. So I know who he is. I know what he says he is, but I actually know who he is. I know what he says he does, but I actually know what he does. So you're also looking at a candidate that actually has that experience and is ready to go toe-to-toe with him on day one, ready to go toe-to-toe with him on the debate stage. And as Democrats go out to say, this is what you get. Well, this is what you get in a Steen administration. You get transparency, you get accountability, you get lower spending, you get safe streets, you get safe families, you get money in your pocketbook so that you can grow your families, and you get an economic development strategy that is going to recruit and attract young people to the state and keep young people here.
Sand, I imagine, is going to lean into a lot on accountability because he thinks he went toe-to-toe with the administration on ESA transparency. The governor has already very clearly addressed that, but no doubt he's brought it up already. He's going to bring it up again, further down towards the general election. Are you prepared to address that one more time?
Yeah, one exciting thing about that scenario is that Rob Sand, for years, has been against the ESA program. He's been against school choice, and he has been very loud in saying that money is disappearing and the Republicans aren't being transparent. But if you look at the latest audit that he finally did on the program, you don't hear him talking about that because they found nothing. All the money is accounted for. The program is working well. And in the Steen administration, I will expand that program. I will protect that program. And Rob Sand will do everything he can to decimate that program. And it will be at the expense of Iowans. And so when he talks about transparency and accountability, that's one area that I'd like to see him put his money where his mouth is.
All right. Yesterday, or rather on Tuesday, you were there with Vice President J.D. Vance in Des Moines. I want to kind of focus on something that he said that stuck out to me. He talked about, that we can disagree on policy issues, tax, regulation, all sorts of things. But he talked about maybe something that connects Republicans, independents, and I think maybe he used the word sensible Democrats in Iowa. Is this something that you can do when it comes to that general election? Is connect with a wide range of voters, some who may not be part of the Republican Party?
Absolutely. One of my favorite things to do is work through common sense, people first, America first policy and processes. And just one of them that I did with the state. It was a common sense move that the state needed to make. And that was when, if you recall, there was a correction officer and a nurse that were killed in the Anamosa prison system. And I helped put together policy that brought Democrats and Republicans to the table that got health benefits to the surviving family members of those families. It was a tragic situation, but it was a common sense piece of policy that we needed to do. And Republicans and Democrats came together. They made the right decision, and it benefited the families of those that served here in the state. And so there are many opportunities to create those common sense, America first, people first policies. And when unsensible Democrats rise up, that's when it gets a little challenging. But I do believe that there are sensible Democrats out there that will agree with us on several things going forward.
All right, Adam. It's been great to get to know you. Thanks for taking so much time with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this.